Hi, this is Sherry Veronica. I invite you to read this blog. To me, it's important. There are certain things in this blog that caught my eye, like slave trade and the fact that they cannot speak. If they speak, they're going to be fired, or they're afraid that they are going to be fired, and everything is one-sided, and people who are there for years are being sent home, and the contracts are one-sided. I invite you to read this. It's pretty long, and you may not imagine that the days they're only 24 hours to your day. Let me tell you this. They're only 24 hours to the days here on your earth. And I don't have enough time. You see how long this is? It's really long. But I invite you, please, I invite you to read this entire blog. It is from, it's the Botanical Gardens. I received a blog a couple weeks back about the same government-run institution, and they're asking Mia Motley, they're begging Mia Motley now to acknowledge that something is not right. Acknowledge that this is happening under your administration. You are in power, the B as in boy, LP. You are in power, and these people who are working for this National Botanical Gardens, they're asking for your assistance. They don't feel as though they're being treated fairly on the job. In fact, they feel as though they have moved back to slavery. I have been talking since I started blogging. I was saying that you could be going back into slavery and not even know it, because you weren't taught your history. You're not being taught what to look for or the pitfalls. It will be harder to put a Haitian or the country of Haiti back into slavery, because they're fighters. They're going to fight their way out. They're going to fight you. They're going to fight. Okay, they're going to fight, and they fought how many armies, how many militaries. They fought. That's why they can be said to be the poorest nation in the Western Hemisphere. It's because they fought, and the white people don't want anything to do with them. They put them on the sideline, and there are probably sanctions against them that you may not even hear about, but they are. Yes, there's a good part of Haiti now that they don't show you. People are living really, really nice in Haiti, but they don't show you that part. They only show you the part where the upheavals are. But in history shows that there were a group of people in Haiti that they didn't stand for your mess, the mess of the colonials. They didn't stand for it. Okay, they didn't sit down and wait for no Emancipation Act. So when I read this, and this person is talking about the slave trade and how they feel as though it's a form of slavery, what they're experiencing. And I've been saying that from the get-go, that if anything goes wrong in this world, anything, and they need to rebuild, if it's bad, like a catastrophic event, and they need to rebuild, the first place they're coming to get slaves would be Barbados and other African nations that have already been colonialized, whatever word, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, but they're coming to get you. Because you have not been taught your history. In fact, you have allowed the people who enslaved you to give you your curriculum. You have allowed them to give you your education. You do not know your history. That's why you behave the way you behave. You're not seeing yourself. You're not taught to see yourself. Okay? You're not taught a lot of things. So the colonial why can't I say that word? The colonialists, the people who put you in slavery, they are going to come and get you again. And I've seen me and Motley talking to you about, going back into slavery. There's a chance that can happen again, because you are not learning. You are in the wilderness. Like when you read the Bible, it's almost as though it's right there. You are in a wilderness, going around in circles. When that slave trade ended in the Bible, and the Israelites were in the wilderness, and they say that they spent 40 years in the wilderness just dancing and having sex and just going about their business, not a care in the world. And they had a promised land. They had a promised land. I don't know what happened there. Oh, what happened there? Is this it? Am I back here? Okay, we're back here. Yeah. Let's go back here. Yes. But you are doing the same things too. The Bible is a history book. The Bible is a history book. And since it says that everything that happened then is still going to happen now, and even on a grander scale, it's going to be even worse than it was back then in the days of Noah. You know that you can look at what is written in the Bible as a history book and see yourself in it. You can see yourselves in it. Barbadians and other parts of the world that was colonialized. That word. You can expect that they're coming back. You can expect it. It's a certainty. Okay, it's not something that maybe it's a certainty. Unless you fought your way out of it like the Haitians did, they're not going to mess with Haitians. If you are under that act, the Emancipation Act, anytime you see the word act, A-C-T, anytime, they didn't teach you that, but anytime you see that word act, it's an act. They don't mean it. They don't mean it. You waited for someone to tell you that you were enslaved. You waited for someone to tell you that you were enslaved. You didn't figure it out, and then they gave you an act. An act. Come on now. You got to do better. You can see it happening right here. You can see it happening right here in this blog, where people are feeling the brunt of. And the thing about it is, they use black people to keep an eye on black people, to beat black people, to run after them when they ran away. It's the same thing that's happening. It's the same thing. They could have had 1,000 slaves and only like 10 people on horses like surveilling it. How? In what world? In what world can you have 1,000 people enslaved and only have like 10 people supervising? In what world? That cannot have happened. Not in any world that I can envision that cannot have happened. 10 people got you under control. Even if it was 50 people, 100 people, it should not. Those people were outnumbered. The slaves outnumbered the slave enforcers, the slave people, the slave, the people who were hired by the slave masters. The slaves always outnumbered the people who were supervising you. And that is something that I cannot wrap my mind around. You sat around and waited for them to tell you, oh, it was a wretched act, and I'm a wretched person. And you actually sing that song. There's a song that a white, really mean enslaver wrote, calling himself a wretch, and it's part of your hymnal. And you sing that song. They got you singing that song. But, it was him trying to find some sort of atonement. Some sort of atonement. You don't know your history. And if you don't know your history, you're going to be making statements, and you're going to be repeating things, and you're going to have certain things in your lexicon. You're going to be speaking in a way thinking it has come from you, but you're using the language of your enslavers, and it's keeping you enslaved. Your language will keep you enslaved, but you don't see it. You don't see it. This is a blog. I invite you to read it. See, I had it here for a long time. Yeah, I invite you to read it. And people are feeling it. It's the same thing that happened during slavery, and this person made a connection. You know, they made a connection to the slave trade. They feel as though they're still enslaved by the way they're being treated. They call two names, Hugh Springer and Joanne Walters. I think I blogged on these people before too, those two names, Hugh Springer and Joanne Walters. I'm going to pull it up from my blog. I'm going to go and see, you know, where it is and pull up their photos. But it's the same thing. They use you to surveil you. They use you to keep you under control. They use you to make them feel comfortable when they come back to the island to see what they have done. Look at what I have created. That's what they say. Look at what I have created. They use you to create nice gardens so that they can move around and they're not bothered. They're unbothered. They're using you. They're using you to make them, their family, feel comfortable while you are unfairing, maligning, you know, just insulting, making each other feel small. And it's just for money that you don't own. You could the money system was created right there too in London. So the money system, the Rothschilds, you know, it don't matter whose face is on that money. It's a system. It's a system. It's something that if you have a central bank, I know if there's a central bank, it means that you are under the rules and regulations of that system. Okay, there's a lot that you don't know. There's a lot that you have not been taught, but you're feeling it. You're feeling it, even though you were not taught what to look for. A lot of people in Barbados, they're feeling it. They're feeling unsafe. And the people who are the young people who are doing all the crime, they're feeling it. They're feeling it, and they're acting it out. They're not keeping it in. They're acting it out. If something goes wrong in this world where it needs to be repaired, they're coming to get you. I'm seeing me and Motley talking about it now. I don't know who else is talking about it, but it's something I've been saying now for the 13 years I've been online talking to you, because I saw it. I saw the way you treat people, even though someone may want you to win. They're on your side and they want you to win. You use that person and abuse that person, and it does not bode well for your future. It does not bode well that you are turning against each other. It's like you don't realize that you're cannibalistic. You're not seeing yourself as eating yourselves. You're not seeing yourself as that. You know, there's a photo of a snake, and it has its tail in its mouth, and it's eating itself, but it doesn't realize it's eating itself. You don't realize that's what you're doing when you treat each other the way you treat each other. You just don't realize it. Okay, so please, I invite you to read this blog. It's out of Botanical Gardens, National Botanical Gardens. I got a blog from these particular folks before, and they're very unhappy working with Hugh Springer and Joanne Walters, but it's probably all politically picked people that are there, maybe, okay? But remember, there may be 100 of you, and there's only one Hugh Springer and one Joanne Walters. That's two. How many of you are working there to keep everything, you know, nice and pretty for people to come and have their events and to come and, you know, relax or whatever? How many of them are you? Don't go back. But then I can only explain to you, it has always been that way. There were hundreds of slaves and a few guards. Hundreds of slaves and a few guards. In what world can that happen? And then after everything is said and done, they give you an act telling you, oh, our bad. Oh, we were wrong. We shouldn't have done what we did. We kind of feel real bad, so we're gonna give you an Emancipation Act. An Emancipation Act is not freedom. An Emancipation Act is not freedom. Freedom is something you take. This is Sherry Veronica.
Help me spread the word about Naked Departure via social media. Subscribe and share to show support and love for our channels.